Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. DStyleBoxing here. Hit that thumbs up button. Check it out. Let's talk some boxing, right? The video is titled Pound for Pound in Perspective because why not? You know, why not? Why not talk about it? Why not talk about it? Why not? So, once in a while, I'll run into comments or people on social media, or I'll hear some boxing podcast, or I'll hear somebody make a video or something, and like they'll say something like I don't believe in pound for pound. Like you don't believe in pound. What does that mean? I don't believe in pound for pound. What does that even mean? This whole like I don't believe in pound for pound bullshit. What does it mean? Because every single person that says that they don't believe in it, as if like you have to have faith to believe in pound for pound or something like that. Like what? Pound for pound isn't about a belief. Okay, that's not what pound for pound is. Okay, pound for pound is the reality in which boxing functions. All right, it is. That's what it is. Now you could get mad at the list, and I don't do the list. I've been telling people for years I don't do pound for pound list. Okay, that's not what I do. I don't play around with list. But pound for pound, okay, it's not up to your opinion whether or not you believe in it. Okay, it has nothing to do with belief. Nothing. Nothing to do with. It's not about. Well, I don't believe in anything. Style. You can't tell me what to do. If you know what you're talking about, you know. Like, shut up, right? And as what you're saying or what you mean to say is, I don't subscribe to pound for pound, right? That's what you mean to say. But if in essence, if you were to say that, right, take the term pound for pound out of the equation. Let's take it out of the equation. If I ask you one question, if I ask you, who is the best fighter in the sport of boxing? If you give me any other name other than the heavyweight champion of the world, then you subscribe to pound for pound. I don't care if you give me Lomachenko, okay? He only got 10 fights. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you say Lomachenko. I don't care if you say Crawford, but he was in a weak division. Like I don't care who the hell you tell me, okay? I don't care. Whatever name you want to give me, all right? If it's not a heavyweight, like if it's not the heavyweight champion of the world or one of the heavyweight champions of the world, because there's several of them, there's three of them, right? If Anthony Joshua or I'll even take Wilder or if you want to take Parker, fine. If one of those names doesn't come out of your mouth, right, then you subscribe to pound for pound, right? Because that's how boxing functions that way. Now, if you were to go back to the 1920s, 1930s, hell, 1940s, and you were to go to a bar or a saloon, back in the day there were saloons, right, or whatever. If you were just to ask an average person, who's the best fighter in the world? Jack Dempsey's the best fighter in the world. He's the heavyweight champion of the world, right? Who's the best fighter in the world? Jack Johnson, he's the heavyweight champion of the world. Who's the best fighter in the world? Joe Louis, he's the heavyweight champion of the world. The best fighter in the world meant the heavyweight champion. That's what it meant. Like, it's very simple. Like if weight classes didn't exist and every fighter just got in shape, in the best shape of their life, right? No scales, no weight, no nothing. Like if every fighter just got in the best possible shape that they're in, where they're supreme as possible in the ring, okay, and they all fight each other, right? The heavyweight champion will come out on top. That's just the reality. That's you can say that's unfair. You can say whatever you want. That's just the truth. That's the truth. That's the reality. But boxing created weight classes, all right, to make it fair for smaller men. That's just the reality of the situation, all right? All right, that's why they created the weight classes. No, but DStyle, you don't understand. Like, shut up. But I don't believe in pound for pound. Like, shut up. Okay, shut up. All right. Pound for pound, for all the people that say they don't believe in it, like, I don't believe, right? It's the structure that gives you the ability to appreciate smaller fighters. That's what it is. Okay? Like leave boxing for a moment, okay? Go back to the days of your neighborhood when you were growing up. All right? Like everybody knew who the toughest dude in the neighborhood was, right? Right? Like you didn't separate each other by weight classes, okay? Or height classes or whatever. That's not the way it worked. Right? That doesn't make sense. In boxing, there was a structure to make sense of it. That's it. Right? The pound for pound concept. I am sick and tired of people in one video talking about, I don't believe in pound for pound. Pound for pound is so stupid. It's stupid. I want to debate DStyle one of these days, you know, to show him that pound for pound is so stupid, right? And then they make another video talking about a Gennady Golovkin is the baddest motherfucker in fucking boxing. Ain't nobody want to fuck with Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin is the scariest motherfucker. He's the best fucking fighter in the world. Like really? Listen to yourself. Listen to what you're saying. All right? Listen carefully to what you're saying. The only way what you're saying makes sense is if you subscribe to pound for pound. It's the only way it makes sense. It's the only way. A pound for pound is so stupid. It's the stupidest thing ever. Oh, pound for pound. Man, if you know what you're talking about, you know pound for pound ain't shit. Like really? And then they do another video talking about some flyweight and how that flyweight's the best fighter in the world. Like, what? All right, like it just it's a lot like algebra. It really is. It really is. Like it's people do algebra every day. They just don't realize they're doing it, right? Almost every day you do algebra. You just don't realize it, right? Like the math you do in your head and stuff like that. When you go purchase something and you're like, how much money do I have, or this and that or the third, and like you're doing algebra, you just don't realize it. Okay? But then when they tell you to do the equation, you're like, oh, fuck this shit. This shit's stupid. I ain't never gonna use this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what this is, man. It's so like I don't believe it. Like what do you mean? What is there? Like, if you say you don't believe in pound for pound, what does that mean? Is there a conspiracy? Like, is there something behind? Like anyway, in a strange way, pound for pound, by definition, is playing pretend. And when you call a welterweight the baddest motherfucker in the planet, or a middleweight the baddest motherfucker in the planet, you're playing pretend. That's not true. Right? If we had an open weight class where all fighters would come in at their best possible weight, they're not going to fuck with the fucking heavyweights. Maybe a light heavyweight here and there, maybe. Right? Now, what do you think you're doing? Like, a pound for pound, stupid. It's playing pretend. And then you say statements that really only make sense if you subscribe to Pound for Pound. You see, people mistake Pound for Pound list, a goofy list that Ring Magazine makes and all that shit, okay? They mistake that with the Pound for Pound concept. They mistake it with that. Now, you grew up, okay, like one way to make sense of it is if you actually get out of that bubble, right? A lot of boxing fans, they're stuck in the boxing bubble, right? Let me give you an example, right? Let me give you an example. I remember when I was a kid, okay? I was a dumb little kid, right? I didn't know shit about boxing, okay? So like all little kids do, they wonder shit, right? Like I remember, like Mike Tyson was on top of the world, right? And Mike Tyson was the most popular fighter. I don't remember specifically if he was heavyweight champion at the time or not, but nonetheless, Mike Tyson was everywhere. Mike Tyson's Punch Out came out, like all that, right? And I remember I was watching Julio Cesar Chavez with my dad and with my grandfather and all that. They would always watch Julio Cesar Chavez. Do you know what I wondered when I was a kid? And anybody who was like younger than 10 years old and say they didn't is a liar, okay? Yeah, I wondered to myself, well, what if Chavez fought Tyson? I didn't understand the concept of pound for pound, or I didn't understand the concept of weight classes and all that. I just saw this one dude with a bunch of fucking belts and everybody calling him the best fighter in the world. And I was confused. Like, well, why are they calling him the best? If like Tyson's, they're saying he's the best. What does this mean? Are they going to fight each other? And they have to explain to me, no, they're in different weight classes. Little D-Style, they're in different weight classes, D-Style. The first thing that came to my mind, like all bullshit aside, all right, and this is the one thing, right, that pound for pound concept, and when you understand it and when you live it, it eliminates it from your head so you could enjoy the lower weight classes, okay? The first thing that came to my mind was, oh, even as a little ass D-Style, okay? All right? Single digit year old D-Style, right? Understood, he's being protected. Like, he can't fight those big motherfuckers. This big motherfucker will kill him. You know, so he has to fight guys, you know, quote unquote, his size. Right? And, you know, he's the best against the guys of his size. You know? But all the accolades they get and all that, because of pound for pound, right? They're put on the same level. That's all pound for pound is. Okay? On the surface, that's what it is. Right? That's what it is. It eliminates that discussion of, oh, well, what have you got in the ring with this dude from 4 weight classes up? Well, we kind of know the answer to that. In most cases, we know the answer to that. Right? But we just don't entertain that. It doesn't matter. Sugar Ray Robinson, right? When he was fighting at the Garden, right? selling out arenas. When he was a dominant welterweight champion, moved up. Okay, he was a middleweight champion. Many of the press at ringside, they knew he was special, right? They knew he was special. But they also knew he couldn't fight for what was considered at the time the richest prize in sports, which was the heavyweight championship of the world. Because when you were the heavyweight champion of the world, you're the best fighter in the world. That's the reality. But they knew he was special. Like they knew, look, I know he can't win that belt. I know he's too fucking small, but I also know, this is the best fighter in the sport. How did they make sense of it? With the pound for pound concept, right? If you tell me you don't believe in pound for pound, then every other video I want to hear you talk about how inferior the lower weight classes are to the heavyweight division. And if you're not doing that, then you do subscribe to pound for pound. You don't know you do, okay? And I still get people, debate me on this style. I'll prove to you the pound for pound is. How are you going to debate me on something that is not debatable? That's what people don't understand. No, but you don't understand if you know what you're talking about. Like shut up. I mean, I'm giving you the historical fact here. That's what I'm giving you. What do you think? What do you think? There's terms that you can trace back, right? We use a lot of metaphors and similes and, when describing things. We use a lot of figure of speeches and stuff like that, right? Boxing used to be ingrained in American culture, in world culture, but specifically American culture. The heavyweight championship was the richest prize in all of sports. That's what the pundits called it. Whether you agree or not, that's besides the point. But that's the pedestal that we're putting it on. Nobody says that anymore, right? But that's the pedestal they put it on. A lot of terminologies, like people use boxing terminologies and they don't even realize that they're using them, right? Like your back's against the ropes. Like people always say that, right? You're down, but not out. What do you think that comes from? That comes from boxing, right? You get knocked down, but you get back up. You beat the 10 count. You're still fighting, all right? That comes from boxing. You know what else comes from boxing? You're a fucking lightweight. Comes from boxing, right? That's another way of saying you're fucking weak, right? That's what that means. It's an old expression, but why do you think that's the expression? Oh, this guy can't hang. He's a fucking lightweight. Well, why do you think that expression exists? Everybody listening to this has probably used that term. They don't even realize the context behind it, the origin behind it, right? But why do you think that is? That's an expression that started before pound for pound concept was really big. Now, nobody's saying that no one, went to see, lightweight title fights, or there was no such thing as a lightweight that was popular. I'm not saying that. But the idea of calling the lightweight champion of the world the best fighter in the world was just ludicrous. At best, they would say the most talented. At best. But people have forgotten what it means. Like if you go to somebody's neighborhood and you say, "Who's the toughest motherfucker in his neighborhood?" They're not gonna take out a scale and weigh people and figure out who the toughest dudes in the 16 weight classes are. That's not the way it works. They just want to know who the toughest motherfucker in the neighborhood is, right? Like if you put everybody in the room and they all fight each other, who's gonna come out on top? Sullivan came up with that term. I forgot exactly what it was, right? It's the heavyweight champion. That's why historically it was the most prestigious division, right? That's why for decades and decades, and it's the division that mattered. Like when you watch a heavyweight, you don't wonder to yourself, like, man, he would get his ass whooped if he moved up in weight. It doesn't exist with a heavyweight. It doesn't. That doesn't exist, okay? So I just wanted to do this video to just, because why not? Because why not? Why the fuck not? Okay? Somebody's got to shed light into this shit, right? Somebody's got to say it before people stop saying dumb things like, I don't believe in pound for pound. Pound for pound is stupid. Like they don't even realize what they're saying. Now, if you're talking about pound for pound list and all that, okay, I get it, right? I understand that. I don't do lists. I don't play with lists. I don't rank 10 dudes that are never going to fight each other. Okay, that's not what I do. That's me. That's my opinion, right? To me, it's just like there's supposed to be one champion. There's just supposed to be one pound for pound guy. One guy. That's it. And historically, in all honesty, the heavyweight champion should not even be really. It's pound for pound is not for the heavyweight champion. I don't think it should. I mean, technically you can. It's not like you can't do it. But I think the heavyweight champion is the heavyweight champion of the world. He doesn't need pound for pound. It's just not necessary. That's my opinion, right? If somebody wants to put a heavyweight in pound for pound, I'd have an issue with that. And like if you feel that Joshua's the best pound for pound fighter in the world, right? I disagree with that. Okay, not just because I don't put heavyweights in there, but I just disagree with that, right? It's not that you can't put heavyweights in there. I just choose not to. I choose not to, right? So it's really simple. It's really simple, right? When you ask who is the best fighter in the world, if you're looking at it from a pound for pound concept, you're going to start thinking to yourself, is it Lomachenko? Is it Crawford? Is it, Spence? Is it like whoever? You're going to start thinking about, Ward if he came back. And you're going to start thinking about all these weight classes and what they've accomplished and what they've done and all this, right? If you're thinking in pound for pound concept, that's what you're thinking about. If I ask you who the best fighter in the world is, that's the way you think. You're using the pound for pound concept. If you don't believe in pound for pound or you don't subscribe to pound for pound, then the way you should look at it is if weight classes didn't exist and all these guys just got in the best possible shape and all fought each other, who would come out on top? Well, the heavyweight champion would come out on top, right? That's who. That's who would come out on top. But nobody thinks of it. Like when you ask who's the best fighter in the world, nobody thinks of it that way. Nobody. Like all these would say, "Oh, I don't believe in pound for pound." They'll bring up featherweights and a lot of those people. So you know what's weird? He's gonna go unnamed, but there's a writer out there that says he hates pound for pound. That pound for pound is stupid, right? But just a couple months, I remember 9 months ago, like last year, he was one of the dudes like pumping up Chocolatito. Oh, Chocolatito's the best fighter in the world. Okay. Nobody appreciates, and then he wondered why nobody appreciates the lower weight class. Like, nobody appreciates the lower weight classes, this, that, and the third. And, well, people like you saying that pound for pound ain't shit, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Like, if you call Chocolatito, like, if you were one of the people that said he was the best in the world, right? And at the same time, you think pound for pound is stupid? Like, you make no fucking sense. None. You make no sense. There's no way you think a dude that weighs 115 pounds would whoop anybody else's ass in the sport. Like, there's no way you believe that. Like, you know that. You know these weight classes are protecting him, right? Now look. Let me bring up the chat. I've said what I had to say. It's been said, right? It's been said. That's it. NBT Boxing in the house. But D-Style, you don't understand, he says. I don't believe in paying for what I buy, says NBT Boxing. Right. You don't believe in purchasing what you bought, huh? I got you. Jamie Chavez says, that's what I've always looked at pound for pound. Who would win if they were the same size? Yeah, that's one way to say it. That's one way to look at it, right? That's not 100% what it means, but that's the best way to describe it to people if they're having a hard time, okay? NBT Boxing, Jeff Horn, than everyone else, in my opinion, says NBT Boxing. Now, see, NBT Boxing, however, does believe that there was no weight classes, Jeff Horn would come out on top, right? So, NBT Boxing, I put heavyweights in pound for pound. Joshua is my number 6. There's nothing wrong with that, because technically you can. I just choose not to. That's my choice. But NBT Boxing, Crawford, 1 with Loma, 2, Triple G, 3. Yeah, you're playing with a list, bro. But I don't like lists, to be honest with you. Okay, NBT Boxing, Roman Gonzalez was my number 4 before he lost. Number 4, what does that mean? Like how is he not number 5? How do you know that? No way to know that. Okay, but hey, it's okay. It's all right. I think I made my point. I think my point has been made clear. All right. I think I made my point pretty clear. I think I have. And if one person that always screams about how pound for pound is stupid, like if one person, they don't have to like the video, they don't have to comment, right? But if just one person comes out of this saying, hey, he's making some good points, maybe I should stop saying that, then I have done my duty. Then D-Style has done his parts. D-Style has done his customer service, his what do you call it? Community service. I was gonna say customer service. I ain't taking that shit. So anyway, with that said, this is DStyleBoxing. NBT Boxing, I want to give you a shout out. Everybody subscribe to NBT Boxing, by the way. NBT Boxing, how you make a list is opinion based. That's true. Like where you put who in the list and all that, that's opinion based. However, the pound for pound concept being a reality in the way that everyone views boxing is not an opinion. That's not up for debate. That's not an opinion. We all view boxing within that pound for pound concept. Every single one of us. Even the ones that say they don't believe in pound for pound, talk pound for pound language all the time. Right? They just don't know that they're doing it. This is DStyleBoxing. I'm out. Peace.